Disaster management, water supply, and welfare of overseas Filipino workers. Congress reconvenes next week as the country faces a number of issues confronting the nation. How will lawmakers address these concerns, and what can be done to help Filipinos cope with these challenges? We put newsmakers on the record. Good evening. I'm Ruth Cabal. Our guests for this episode in the studio, we have Albay 2nd District Representative Joey Salceda and political analyst Ramon Casiple, and via Skype, we have Senator Francis Tolentino. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Okay, let's start with the biggest news for the week, of course, the eruption of the Taal volcano. Congressman, some of your colleagues are asking for a probe into the alleged lack of information. Some senators don't want to do that.
Help first, investigate later. There's enough time to investigate it if you want to learn something from it. So, kasi dun sa, ano ka sa Albay, di ba?
Yeah, nag-cover ako sa Mayon volcano when you were
kasi
governor.
Kasi pag in-undermine mo yung confidence ng taong sa authorities, it is a disaster already. So, kung meron ka man gustong malaman, then there are some other ways to know it. So, ang dapat gawin ng Kongreso is one, makatulong in mobilizing material assistance. Second is mag-supplemental budget na. Kasi yung aming pong NDRMF fund, binawasan namin from 20 to 16. Kasi nga, last year hindi nagamit masyado. So ngayon, pinatama-tama lang sa Marawi, yung mga earthquakes, etc. So ngayon, we now, kailangan bawiin namin. Kasi nga nandito yan. So, and pangatlo, siguro kailangan tingnan din namin makatulong sa pag-create po ng Taal Eruption, Recovery and Rehabilitation and Adaptation Fund or Plan.
Because I'm looking at yung memo, what do you call this? The memo that you prepared, and then you're saying that there's a need for a terra firm or Taal Eruption Recovery Adaptation Plan and a reconstruction commission with a budget of 60 to 100 billion pesos.
Oo nga, kasi parang yan, Clark. It's a chance na you wanna just go back to the dati, which is build back. We can build back better forward. So I think that's what we want to make Batangas and the whole area as a new growth center. So this is a chance to create a new Clark down
para
there.
mas ma-improve pa yung buong region.
Kasi kung gusto nyo lang harapin yung ngayon, mga 12 billion kaya na yan.
But we're talking about a separate fund.
I'm talking now recreating that whole area because it's the most it's proximity to Manila, and meron silang port, deep sea port na kayang-kaya pong i-absorb yung ating pong industrial output at saka yung ating mga export and import capacity.
Okay, we go to Senator Tolentino, sir. Sir, yung calls to investigate daw particularly FIVOX and yung lack of information.
Siguro alarming yung biglang taas from alert level 1, biglang naging 2, naging 3, naging 4. Alam ni Congressman Joey Salceda yan when I handled the Mayon crisis 2 years ago na meron talagang protocol. So while the lower house would do that, dapat siguro malaman din kung totoo yung nag-fail yung instruments or was there a human error. Pero sa akin nga, nakafocus ako dito sa rehabilitation ng area. And kanina nga, minute ko yung Tagaytay Tourism Council, and with the concurrence of the Department of Tourism, baka mag-open na yung mga ibang hotels kahapon. Sabi ko nga, nandun ako sa Legazpi, sa Mayon. Wala naman nag-close na resorts or restaurants. Nandun lang kami. But why do you have to close? Why do you have to order? So I met the Tourism Council, and siguro by tomorrow, some hotels and restaurants will be open. So normal si kagad yung gusto namin i-project.
Okay, isa ring binanggit ni Congressman is yung additional funds, no? I'm looking at the 2020 General Appropriations Act, 16 billion for National Disaster Risk Reduction.
Nabawasan.
Yeah, oo.
So baka kailangan dun lang sa Volcano Island. So kailangan natin ng relocation, mga 3 billion kagad para dun sa lahat ng mga household at saka yung mga nasa within the permanent disaster zone ng Taal volcano.
So you think kailangan ng, what do you call it, an emergency fund?
No,
or do you have to...
lang.
Supplemental na lang. And then
so
you have to pass
agad
it.
namin yung kung may mga non-moving items from the 2019. Alam mo, we're now, dalawang budget ngayon ang parallel, 2019-2020. So marami na sa 2019, makikita namin na dahil due to right-of-way problems, pwede na namin pong i-source as funds to augment. Kasi ang mga ganito kasing panahon na biglang parang ginigitla ka. Actually, para sa akin po, it's always a chance to redefine the future of that area. So I think the Taal eruption actually is a big pagkakataon. I don't like it, call it opportunity at this point. But that's what it is.
Gusto ko lang din tanong si Juan, kasi parang pag may mga ganitong issue, parang laging investigasyon dito, investigasyon doon. Parang yung iba, how come yung mga ibang lawmakers, yun yung una nilang gustong gawin?
Actually, I'm doubtful kung timely yung ganong klaseng intervention ng legislature. They are not the ones actually facing the crisis. They should wait for the executive department to assess kung ano ba talaga yung nangyari. Even the problem which I don't think so, doon sa pay box. Kasi I saw the data. Talaga namang lumitaw lang yung probability ng isang eruption. Nung araw mismo, oras lang. Different yung, yung takbo ng pangyayari. And I don't think nagkaroon din ng problem doon. Kasi, in fact, kung tama yung kwento ng PBOX, na hindi pa sila nag-issue ng alert, sinabihan nila yung mga tao sa Volcano Island na umalis na. Meaning, they were aware of their own responsibilities. Ang ano pa dito siguro, tama si Congressman doon, yung rehab, yung supplemental budget, yung planning, yung infrastructure. Talagang, kayang-kaya yun ng legislature. Pero makialam ka sa scientific, sobra na yun eh. Pwede ka pa makialam sa mga problema ng bayan siguro na social or ano. Pero yung mga ganyang conclusion na yung dating sa akin na merong mali sa hindi na warningan, etc. Let's wait for the whole crisis to end. Nasa gitna tayo ng crisis eh. Ngayon, yung tourism, pati yan that has to depend sa assessment ng proper authorities, lalo na ng PBOX, kung ano na yung sitwasyon. Kasi nagbukas ka ng hotel, biglang sumabog. Walang
Nakikinig si Senator.
Oo nga, yun.
Hindi, sinasabi ko na kay Senator yan. Ako, maliwanag sa akin yung concern siyempre, Tagaytay siya.
Tagaytay si Senator.
And I share the concern doon.
Na maraming affected rin kasi yung livelihood.
Pero
true.
ako dyan,
Nasa 14 ba sila? Wala. Nasa 15, nasa 17 sila eh.
Na kilometer danger
Sa
radius.
nasa loob sila ng 14.
Hindi.
Nasa loob sila ng 14. Kaya lang mataas sila. Kaya hindi sila ginawang...
Hindi sila direct,
Hindi sila risk area.
Okay, pero we talk about the long-term solution for yung ganito kasi isa talaga sa sinusulong na bill is yung creation ng Department of Disaster Resilience. So pagbabalik natin after a quick break, we'll talk about that one and other priority bills of Congress. This is On the Record. Keep it here on CNN Philippines. You're on the record on CNN Philippines. We're still talking about priority measures of Congress when it resumes session next week, particularly those that deal with crisis situations in the country. So one of the long-term solutions now to make the country disaster resilient is the creation of a Department of Disaster Resilience. Senator Tolentino is with us. Can you tell us, are you pushing for this bill?
Yes, filed the bill.
Yes, I offered a measure relative to that, pero nasa committee level pa ngayon. Siguro itong result ng Taal eruption would validate strengthen the need for the passage of that measure. Nagpapasalamat kami sa lower house, pasado na, pero ang punto talaga ngayon is quick rehabilitation. Yung sa amin sa Tagaytay area, mabilis ito, mababangon namin to, but I commiserate with the plight of the fisher folks coming from Balete, Agoncillo, Taal, Lemery, Laurel, Talisay, mga karatig bayan din namin yon. Tama yung sinabi ni Congressman Joey na dapat magkaroon din ng alternative source of livelihood yung mga kababayan, yung mga fisher folks natin doon. So there has got to be a way, and then funding talaga yan.
Pero sir, isa sa sinasabi ni Senator Lacson kasi hindi na daw kailangan ng separate department kasi nga bloated na yung bureaucracy. Why do we need a separate DDD, no?
The MDRIMC is just a collegial coordinative body that meets, sad to say, was part of that before during crisis periods only. So we have to have a permanent working department that would focus not just on rescue responses, but
Risk
I've been through
reduction.
all of this rehabilitation. That's the mantra, quick rehabilitation. I've heard the phrase build back better. Kailangan talaga yon. So we have to have a cabinet level position for that, not just an ad hoc body. If it's that's an ad hoc body. Yung sa akin, I was just designated by the president. You be the Mayon Volcano Crisis SAR. You be the Typhoon Ompong Crisis SAR. So kailangan natin may semblance of permanency, dealing with the donors, dealing with the not just the rescuers but the long-term plans, including possible involvement with the zoning regulations, among others.
Okay, Congressman Salceda, ano nang status sa inyo?
Tapos na po kami kasi actually last Congress, inapprove na po namin to. So actually tumagalan sa Senate. So talagang kailangan po na mas malakas kasi the more unpredictable, the more preparation. And the more preparation, the stronger the institutional approach. So the DDR actually provides that stronger institutional approach.
Yung sinasabi ni Sir na talagang kailangan kasi permanent at nakatutok lang doon.
Kasi yung parang static lang naman sa mga images dito. Kasi wala naman namatay eh. Yun ang importante. Para sa akin, yun ang principal empirical issue dito. Pero yung parang bakit parang may something wrong? Kasi nga, yung mga contingency plan, hindi ko yata na-update. Kaya nung nagtakbuhan yung mga tao, hindi mo alam kung saan pupunta. Pangalawa, yung role ng mga local government units, hindi na-clarify agad. Siyempre kasi biglaan nga. Pero pati po ang contingency plan precisely addresses that biglaan, that unpredictability. So what if ganito nga lumabas? Then you automatically, you put it out of yourselves and say, okay, this is what we do.
Isingit ko na lang din, because sanay po kayo dito sa Mayon Volcano, no? Best practices, anong your experience as a governor doon sa Mayon Volcano? Kasi ako, nakita ko parang ang tagal naming nag-cover sa inyo, hindi pa sumasabog yung bulkan, talagang nakaprepare na kayo. Wala ng tao, talagang pinapalikas nyo lahat no? Ano bang pwedeng matutunan namin sa Mayon?
Unang-una, kitang-kita nyo kagad ang gagaling ng mga Batanggenyo. Kasi they were safe despite government. Tipong ganyan ang dumating, di ba?
The residents, yeah.
They evacuated themselves. So, in other words, may muscle memory. So, I think yung understanding the human behavior in times of distress, yun po talaga ang gusto natin mapaloob po sa mga patakaran ng ating gobyerno. Kaya kitang-kita mo dito kung paano mo i-aatakihin yung problem, yung mga, kasi ang dami-daming ganyan so, biglang nagkaroon ng maraming lindol. Ilan? 50,000 structures ang nasira. Nasira. At half of that is permanently destroyed. I mean, in Mindanao. Tapos biglang dumadami na ulit na namamatay dahil sa bagyo. So, kailangan mo talaga ang kapasidad ng national government para matulungan po. Kasi not all LGUs are equal. And some LGUs have more risk than others. So, sino pupuno nun?
Ang napansin ko lang kasi parang naging, I don't know if naging part na ng kultura or thinking nila. Kasi yung napansin ko, yung pag pinapalikas nyo, talagang handa sila lumikas. Hindi katulad dun sa ibang lugar na may matitigas ang ulo, na how did you develop yung ganun? Even yung awareness ng mga tao, no?
Kasi nakita namin kung paano maghirap ang tao. Ano ba yung pyroclastic material? 1,000 Fahrenheit. Ano ba ang boiling point? 150? Tapos pangalawa, tapos it runs at 500 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
So
Yung
once you're there in that 14 kilometer and it does a hazardous eruption, you're dead. Kasi marami sa amin doon, nakatakbo pa, nakasakay pa sa jeep. Pagdating po ng ospital, wala na hong laman yung buto. Talaga natutunaw. I have 24 pictures na ginanon ko. Kaya inuulit namin to. Ito pa yung gusto nyo.
Kaya natuto na rin sila na on their own.
If you're inside that designated danger zone and it erupts, you're dead. Sure as dead.
Siguro, briefly, we talk about other priorities ng Congress. No? Mon, ano sa tingin mo ang dapat i-prioritize aside from this one, no?
Well, aside from disaster, maraming disaster kasi, hindi lang tayo, no? Mahalaga yung mga reforms na gusto ng mga tao. Uh, Number one actually sa akin, for me, constitutional reforms. Ito, pinumisan na ng presidente. That's one of the reasons why he was elected. At nandyan naman yung proseso nangyayari na. But it's Congress that has to decide, lalo ng Senado. So, they have to do it now, kasi kung lumapit-lapit na yung 2022, medyo wala na yan.
May mga kanya-kanyang pwestuhan na yan for elections.
Nandyan pa rin yung mga naiwang mga usapin, sa halimbawa, corruption, mga anti-corruption measures, mukhang kulang pa. Yung economic growth natin, maganda yung record natin for so many years. Pero alam naman natin, ang daming challenges yan, including mga gera at saka mga supply ng mahalaga nating you have to make sure na naka-attune tayo sa mga ganon. At the same time, to take advantage nung sitwasyon ngayon na tinitingnan ng Pilipinas as part ng Southeast Asia na growth area ng mundo. Ang investment dito ngayon bumabaha.
In particular, ano tong gusto mo with regards to constitutional reforms, economic reforms? Kasi yung ibang nabanggit na priorities you have for the amendments of Foreign Investments Act and then taxes. In particular, what do you want to...
Ano ba yung goal natin para po mas makita natin kung ano dapat gawin ng Kongreso? Yung goal talaga ni Pangulo, at least as he articulated it for the Filipino people, is magka-A credit rating, maging upper middle income country by 2022. Tapos at least para sa akin, kaya po ng Pilipinas ang 8 to 10% GDP growth rate at single-digit poverty rate. Yung apat na yun, basically. So, maganda yung record natin pagbaba ng poverty sa 2.24% per year siya. So, kaya-kaya niya na mag-single digit by 2022. Ang problema, paano mo masusustain yan? Kailangan mo talaga ng constitutional reform. If you wanna do single digit, you must open up the economy to greater competition and, of course, foreign investment. That basically is foreign investment. Kasi, kita mo naman dyan, kaya nagka-problema tayo sa tubig. Dalawa lang may-ari. Sa aeroplano, dalawa lang may-ari. Sa telepono, dalawa may-ari. Sa planta, sa electricity.
Hindi ba kaya siya dun sa Foreign Investments Act amendments? You really need to open up the Constitution.
Kasi una-una yung definition na yun. Meron sana kami dyan na parang outflanking strategy, which is the PSA amendments, redefining what is a utility. So ang utility ngayon, matitira, dalawa lang dapat, water at saka kuryente, distribution ng kuryente. So, pinatagal-tagal talaga sa House. Mukhang ngayon matatapos na namin yung second reading by hopefully this week sa papasok na linggo. Pero bakit ka pa mas maganda kung yung ibigay na lang sa Kongreso? Alin ba yung
Pwedeng galawin sa Constitution.
Otherwise, as provided for by law, basically, lahat po ng mga nilagay sa Constitution, na 60-40 rule, etc., lahat, lalagyan lang ng as may be provided for by law. So, the
Tapos
Congress...
mag-a-adjust na lang ang Congress.
Well, it's up to Congress. So, if they want to get re-elected, you better...
Naisip ko lang yung isang as provided for by law, yung dynasty. Mon?
Well, hindi yun economic,
Yeah,
Although
political.
it will have an impact.
Yeah.
Yung dynasty naman, tingin ko, dapat tingnan mo in context ng isang pagbabago mismo ng political system mo. Parang ganun din, open up the system, gawin mong stable yung political system na yan, ilagay mo na sa road na hindi power lang yung single na usapin, kundi pati yung programs and platforms. Ang miniming ko rito, for me, ang pinakamahalaga, political party reforms, more than the anti-dynasty. Kasi kung ma-shift mo yung labanan sa politika, sa parties, papasok yung sinasabi kanina, platform, programs.
Like we're talking about dalawang parties na lang or kasi we have a multi-party system now and pwedeng palipat-lipat.
Actually, political parties. I'm not talking party list group. To all intents and purposes, political parties sila.
Yes.
Why not call them by the real name? In fact, ang nature naman ng party list, supposedly sa international,
it's a political party.
Political parties yan. So, ang kailangan mo lang dyan ibukas mo yung system para hindi yung mga political families lang. I'm not actually for absolute banning ng dynasties. Kasi hindi naman by themselves masama yan. Masama yan kung nagkaroon ng monopoly of power na ginagamit na yung pagka-dynasty niya kahit na hindi na bagay yung apo. Ginagawa pa rin.
Hindi na kaya ng mga kamag-anak.
Ang
Oo.
key dyan, the balancing institution is the political party. Kasi doon pwedeng pumasok din yung ibang families, pwedeng pumasok yung mga
So, pag
based.
meron na pong initiatives na galing po sa committee namin na nasa floor na, which is the Rufus Rodriguez version. Actually, supportive po ako noon.
We're talking about political or...
Both. It's all there, both economic and political. Ang problema doon, yung extending ng term.
Okay.
Kaya, again, pilay na naman kami sa public opinion. Pero isang tawag lang ni Presidente yan eh.
So, saan ba yung problema, sir?
Alin? Yung
Saan ba yung
pagtawag.
problema? Okay, sa ibang kasamahan nyo?
Sa tingin ko, kaya namin i-approve yun.
Okay, pag-usapan pa natin yan and we still have Senator Tolentino with us. We'll be back after a quick break. This is On The Record. Stay tuned.
Okay.
You're watching On The Record on CNN Philippines. We're talking about priority legislation of Congress. We still have Senator Tolentino. Sir, pinag-uusapan dito yung possible charter change, amendments for political and economic reforms. Kaya ba yan dyan sa Senate?
Alam mo, mahirap pala tong Skype kasi hindi ako nakakasali dyan sa ano. But I agree with with several points raised, yung kailangan baguhin natin yung sa economic provision. Pero there was an announcement made by the President a few days ago na gusto niya yung mga proyekto niya matapos during his term. So lumalabas dito, if you read between the lines, gusto niya yung mga doables within his term. So makikita natin na siguro nakikita niya na konti na lang to, 2.5 years. So sana makaabot tayo doon sa balik sa two-party system, kung matutuloy yung charter change, so be it. I think that the Senate would be willing to accept the challenge. Pag naggaling na sa tamang pag-uusap kung ano yung mga dapat baguhing provision, I don't see any reason why some would be intransigent in so far as the political provisions are concerned. Narinig ko yung political dynasty. So lahat ito, ngayon, motherhood principles pa lang yan. But kung kailangan natin gawin, tama yung time frame, it has to be within this year.
Okay, Senator, kasi we're running out of time. Kayo na lang po, specifically, anong isusulong nyo na batas na maipasa po?
Ako, sa akin, nakikita ko kung hindi natin abutin yung charter change, there is a need to amend several provisions of the local government code, which would really empower the LGUs. Alam ni Governor Joey yan, palakasin natin yung kakaharapin natin by 2022, yung we have to confront the effects of the Mandanas decision. So lalaki yung pondo ng mga pamahalaan lokal. Are they equipped to handle this? So incapacitate na natin sila. So mag-prepare na rin yung national government kung saan sila kukuha nung pampuno naman doon. Ako on my side, I've been filing bills left and right to amend several provisions. For instance, yung problema natin sa traffic, I will go on a committee report on Monday. Ito yung bill na binibigyan ng kapangyarihan yung mga LGUs to enter into a mass transit system. Hindi naman DOTR lang ang may poder dito without going through the NEDA procedure. So Makati can build its own subway, etc., etc.
Okay. Thank you very much kay Senator Tolentino, and we go back to our guests in the studio. Like what I asked him, because we're running out of time, ano na lang po ang gusto niyong i-prioritize?
Well, constitutional reform na nasabi kanina, no? Both economic and political. I think there is time. Tama si Senator Tolentino doon. This year is the year.
Yeah, this is our last year.
It's really a question of
Last push.
just passing it. There is still time. Wala akong problema doon sa process.
And kasama
this
na
year.
rin doon yung federalism, you think?
Well, even federalism, if there is already or a majority of the senators and congressmen will agree to it, there is still time. The whole of it.
Okay.
Yung Spanish model, basically the autonomy, which is really you have an accession framework. It's up for group of provinces or cities to negotiate with Congress the terms of their autonomy.
Kayo, sir, sa Kamara, anong direksyon niyo?
Unang-una, tapusin namin yung mga buwis. Kasi sayang ng lahat ng usapin na to kung wala akong pera ang Estado. You need, our Philippines, although nasa 15.3% na tayo of GDP, that is very close to the tax to GDP ni FBR. Pero pag kinumpare mo sa region, nasa 21, so malayo-layo pa tayo. So walang kapasidad ng Estado mag-provide po ng infrastructure at saka ng social services, katulad health at education. So ang pinaka-importante sa amin si TIRA, corporate income tax, pero nasa Senate na yan. Tapos dito sa House, ang natitira po yung malaking kikitain ay POGO tax.
Okay,
Tapos
The
yung
online
waste po
payment.
sa mining para mabuksan na po yung mining regime. So as is where is na namin, based po doon sa previous kasi tinaasan din na pala namin during the train 1. Yung waste po, yung excise tax po on mining actually is already higher, much higher than
Kumbaga tinataksa niyo yung mga dapat na taksa.
Then,
Sa taong bayan naman, ano bang effect niyan?
po.
Ano bang effect niyan sa taong bayan?
Sa POGO,
Taxpayers.
hindi naman sila ma-affected.
Yeah, but in other tax measures.
Hindi nila sila affected sa mining. So, nagbabayad dito yung mga mayaman, yung mga investor. So, talagang piling-pili naman po. Pero yung tatlo po, yung tinatawag nating the triplets, Department of OFW, tapos na po sa committee.
Okay.
Ako po nag-chair ng TWG niyan, tapos na po kami. Tapos na rin po yung DDR, ng
Disaster resilience
and tapos na rin po yung Department of Water.
water. Okay, so abangan natin yung movement yan sa Senate. Maraming salamat sa ating guests. We ran out of time. That's On the Record for this week. Thank you for watching. I'm Ruth Cabal.